Think forward. Think Research Channel.
Why did we suddenly talk about globalization? And I think there are a number of specific reasons. One of them, I think, is the image that came with that NASA shot of Earthrise, where for the first time people actually had a photograph
you can actually see
of the globe.
Our goal is to reduce poverty. Our goal is to focus on ways that we can promote sustainable, pro-poor economic growth.
They think that an unregulated, market-driven, profit-oriented economy will indeed, in the end, not directly, but will in the end, solve social problems.
What it does is it makes the poor poorer and the rich richer.
First of all, we have to, I guess, assume or believe that we live in a system, and that's what globalization to me is.
Debates on globalization typically pit global corporations and multilateral financial institutions against local interests. The arguments focus on the inequalities that govern the current global order, but this approach has limitations. It relies upon fixed definitions of the local and the global. Limiting the debate to these categories circumscribes the complexities of globalization. How can we look at globalization differently?
They don't really care about us locals. They talk big about Hawaiiana. We end up competing with them for space. Happens in the water.
We're kind of like an outcast, and that's the saddest part, is because we're the founders of surfing. If you look at history,
the sport has gotten so much bigger, along with sports, business.
It's a great avenue for sponsors or for corporations for marketing.
Is surfing popular in Japan?
Yes.
How many people?
Many people.
There's none like Hawaiian girls in the magazines, which it should be because surfing's from here.
There's a homeboy out here with cornrows in his head. Whoa, there's a black man out here surfing. You all right? You ain't gonna drown?
Hawaii, again, every year on an annual basis takes center focus on a global stage with these surf contests.
Because it's stressful and you're dealing with a lot of people's attitudes, and it's not just a walk in the park, You're going out there and putting your life on the line.
It's the only way that it's going to grow. There's more dollars being put into the sport to promote the sport, to make it a mainstream product.
People, they try to make money off of it and stuff like that. That's not what it's there for. It's recreation, bro. You love the ocean, you surf,
Gidget and the Beach Boys. The sport's most popular images recall the 60s and the golden era of California surfing. These images lead to stereotypes that underrate the complex cultural and economic networks sustaining the global reach of surfing. Surfing is a profession, an industry, and a cultural practice. These elements intersect one another in the spectacle of modern surfing contests. world of competitive surfing, Hawaii holds center stage.
Well, you hear people talk about Hawaii being a place of sand, sun, and surf. And the surf part really pops up for the surfing community because we have the best waves on both the South Shore and North Shore and all the different islands. And on the North Shore, you have your preeminent worldwide contests every winter. And it draws surfers from all over the globe to compete, to be the best in the world as far as these surf competitions go. So Hawaii, again, every year on an annual basis takes center stage, center focus on the global stage with these surf contests. And I think it's remarkable that from people from all over the globe come to Hawaii every year and return to Hawaii to participate in these contests.
As the mecca of surfing, Hawaii is the proving ground for competitive surfers. Every year, Oahu's North Shore hosts professional surfing's most prestigious and lucrative contests.
For Hawaii, it's like this is the ultimate testing grounds for surfing, and this is where everybody comes to prove themselves in the sport. And it brings people from all around the world, and it's like the place all year that we talk about. It's like, oh, I can't wait until North Shore wintertime, and going to Hawaii.
The playground got a lot bigger. Now you're playing with the world.
Surfing's been international for quite some time now. It's just getting more and more popular. We have surfers from all over the world that come to the Pipeline Masters and the Triple Crown, and it's great. I think everyone expects to see everybody from around the world. They love that feeling, and being here in Hawaii is a good community feeling, and it just brings everybody from all over. It's nice.
Pro surfing is probably the most international sport in the world. They have tournaments in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in Australia, and of course the United States and here in Hawaii. So the combination of contestants from around the world is very broad.
Surfing has always had, in Hawaii itself, has had strong representation from California, Australia, Japan, Brazil, Peru. So there have been many surfing nations that have come to Hawaii since Hawaii's been the mecca of surfing. It's been like the draw card to pull these different countries to the islands.
Surfing the waves of Hawaii is a rite of passage. Both amateurs and professionals desire to experience the authentic birthplace of surfing.
日本人の考え方で、サーフィンとハワイはすごい関係ありますか？
すごい関係あると思います。
どうしてと思いますか？
サーフィンってハワイが発祥の地なんですよね。それもあるし。あとやっぱりノースショアとか大会とかやってるじゃないですか。それが有名だから。
Industries use this desire for the authentic to expand markets. The increase in the international flow of surfers to and from Hawaii broadens the audience for surfing's images and products.
They're bumping it up. The money is getting more. You look at a professional golf event, say, and there's millions of dollars involved. And surfing started from something so small where they were running these events out of someone's backyards for a little trophy as a prize and no money at all. And now guys who are making it 1 or 2 rounds are getting thousands of dollars. So it's growing, and they're trying to turn surfing into a really professional thing that has some money involved.
More than a fun-loving lifestyle, surfing fuels a multi-million-dollar global industry.
And a good example, in America alone, it's a $5 billion industry, and globally it's considered to be probably 15 times that.
Surfing is a business, and it's a way to make, for the surfers to make a lot of money. And without having the backing from the sponsors that we have, we wouldn't be able to have contests all over the world and have giveaways and cars and the purses that we have that the surfers can win at the events. That draws the huge crowds. So yeah, I think it has helped surfing, and I think it's only going to get bigger.
I think it's good that obviously large companies are getting involved in surfing, supporting surfing, Hasn't really directly affected me.
Yeah.
I don't have an Xbox, you know, I don't have my Ford Ranger that I'm driving around, so. But it's great that, you know, I think it opens a lot of people's eyes to that, you know, that they go, wow, Xbox is involved with surfing, you know, and you know, Ford is getting involved with surfing, and it makes other you know, car companies and other, you know, computer companies want to look at surfing and think, wow, maybe we should tap into that too. So it's only a positive thing, I think.
The business of surfing is the business of selling images. Surfboards, board shorts, and t-shirts are symbols of the surfing lifestyle. Logos display one's membership in a youthful culture defined as cool, active, and healthy. Increasingly, companies capitalize on the youth market by using surfing as a promotional vehicle for their products. They broaden their image by sponsoring professional surfers and events.
Xbox is Microsoft's entry in the gaming world, and of course it's the demographics is the youth market without a doubt, and they see surfing as a great promotional vehicle that they can get the word out about their product.
Microsoft traditionally is associated with business applications, servers, very uninteresting things to the youth market. It broadens the corporate image of Microsoft.
Right.
So it doesn't change the corporate image of Microsoft necessarily, because you're not seeing a big Microsoft logo up there. You're seeing the Xbox logo.
Right.
So we're creating a new brand.
It takes it beyond just the surf market, takes it to the mass market.
The entry of multinational corporations has transformed the business of surfing.
The industry has just changed. It's tremendous. Look at Locomotion now. Back, I think when I was growing up, they only had like maybe one shop, and it was just a little surf shop. But now it's a chain of shops, worldwide, international, biggest surf shop. I mean, look at this place. It's nothing like how it ever was. But it just means because the sport has gotten so much bigger, and along with sports, you know, business, and that's basically what it is. It just evolved into a mecca of business.
Locomotion started back in 1977 by a surfer shaper by the name of Rob Burns. The shop was located in Kailua. It started from a really small surf shop back then, and through the years he had promoted products from Hawaii, which carried over to the mainland and on to Japan, where he had the opportunity to sign a licensee, which was Minami Sports in Japan, that took on the products and promoted the product over the years.
Locomotion's expansion into a multinational corporation is not unique. Most surf companies trace their origins to small-scale local industries. However, the deregulation of global markets combined with the international expansion of surfing has triggered a boom in the surfing industry.
Basically, where Quicksilver started, out of a gas station in Torquay, Australia. In Southern California, actually, in Newport Beach, they had a seamstress there, and they would make board shorts, put them in the trunk of their car, and go around to surf shops and to different surf spots in California and sell them out of the back of their truck. You know, we've evolved into a full-line manufacturer of clothing now. We're a $3 million company with a marketing look in the market that we're a $50 million company. Everybody in the world is a licensee of Quicksilver US, the corporation. Australia, Japan, Turkey, France, Russia, Indonesia, South Africa, Canada, Mexico.
The success of these multinational corporations comes from their ability to portray and market themselves as local. Alongside these corporations are smaller surf companies that capitalize on the more exclusive images of the local.
About 25 years ago, there was a bunch of guys that started surfing together, and then they started surfing so often together that they decided to purposely go to the same place at the same time, you know, and surf together. So then to eventually make themselves a club. And to distinguish themselves as a club, they started making black shorts with a red and yellow stripe. and they called their club Hui Ohe Nalu. When they first started, you could consider them water bullies, you know, like, hey, can I surf over here, you know? Which sucks, but oh well, that's how it is. That's how it was. So I think that kind of stuck with the Hui and came along. It's not so obvious today. Everything in here doesn't say Hui Ohe Nalu, it says Friends of the Hui. It's derived from the club, but it's not the actual club itself. So like there's a lot of board shorts in here that you can see out and about on people, but we don't sell them because they're exclusive club shorts. You have to be a part of the club to get them.
For me, it's getting paid for what I love to do. It's my passion, and I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job, and I want to be able to come and go as I please and be able to afford a decent lifestyle. I mean, for me, I want the house, the wife, the kids, the cars, the whole 9 yards, and I got a chance at doing it through something I love, and I'm going to take a chance at it. And just, I could fail, but maybe not. So. If the surfer tends to put the majority of his weight on his front foot or his back foot, and you tend to shape the board around that person. So a lot of my normal clientele, I develop a personal relationship with them, and I can pretty much go back 2 or 3 boards and know what they have and what's worked and what hasn't worked. And you put everything together and you try to come up with a formula to put into foam and see if you can put what you got on your head into a block of foam and hopefully be able to create somebody a magic board somewhere down the line. And if you do that, a few times in your life, then you pretty much accomplish what you want. I think every board that somebody buys, they can remember a great wave or something that they've done on that board, and that's what's most gratifying about making boards, at least for me. Hawaii is the main focus point for any surfer in anywhere around the world. If you're serious about surfing, you want to come to Hawaii, and sooner or later you'll get here. And when you get here, you're going to find out we got the best boards in the world in Hawaii. And I mean, there's tons of great guys making boards in Hawaii. So it's hard to make a living at it because there's so many of them. But Hawaii is definitely the hot spot for surf and for boards.
Even as these companies root themselves in Hawaii, they become part of global networks of production and distribution.
We do have stores as well as warehouses outside of Hawaii, like Bali, Indonesia, and Europe.
Even local specialized industries like surfboard shapers are also involved in these global networks.
The whole process of the board first starts with the order, depending on if it's an order from a retail shop or a customer. They'll laminate it, they'll put a coat of fiberglass over it. And then after that, they'll put what they call a hot coat, which is a thick, sandable kind of resin. And then they plug the fins in it. And then somebody comes and they sand the whole thing. And then they'll gloss it and polish it on top of that. So there's about anywhere from 5 to 8 different steps in the production, and a board will take anywhere from 4 days to 2 weeks to finish, depending on the size of it and the finish of it and the different kind of artwork or color work the person wants on it. You design the board according to the person or the individual's body weight, their skill level on how good they are, or to the type of wave they like to surf, which goes back to kind of where they're surfing. So we're known for our big waves, and we tend to make our boards accordingly. So our boards will have a lot more bend in the bottom of them. They'll have a harder rail because they're going to be going a lot faster, and they tend to have more bend in the tail, so you can turn them in the radius of the wave, to where Japan is more just beach break and waves that dump on the sand, so they ride a lot flatter, thicker boards over there, and a little bit stronger because those boards will beat up. Their boards tend to get beat up a lot more in Japan.
I started making surfboards when I was in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and just started doing it because they were expensive, and I just figured I could make my own. Local Motion is my best account by far and my main account. But you know, I sell my boards to a couple of different shops on the mainland and a couple of shops in Japan and some shops on the East Coast and things like that. And so you try to, like, almost like if it was your portfolio, you diversify your business. And it's like any other business, really. You know, if the bigger you get some lucky breaks, you get a few guys riding your boards or trying them out, and maybe you're not paying them, you get some publicity here or there, and things bump up, and maybe you can step up and start sponsoring somebody and step up to another level, and you know, and start advertising and running ads and doing things like that would boost you into another level of business.
Whether positioned as local or global, surf companies trade in the distinctiveness of the local.
We can spread aloha from Hawaii by things like the Eddie Aikau contest, by special shirts that Quicksilver does that just pertain to Hawaii, you know, like Quicksilver Hawaii and stuff. Those kind of things make it very important. And I think once a tourist comes over here, especially maybe somebody from Southern California, and they surf over here, they want to go home with something that's, you know, I got this in Hawaii, you know, it says a special Quicksilver shirt or something like that, or a special bill, not, you know, not only Quicksilver, but all the lines. So I think it's important for all companies to take a look at what they're doing and use Hawaii as a focal point in what they do.
The local sold to global surfers is mobile. It is at home in Hawaii just as it is in Australia, France, or South Africa. While the local is mobile, images of surfers remain fixed in that golden era of California surfing.
Surfing itself represents the core of the youth movement, and as fashions change, kids want to follow what's going on, so a combination of music and sport combined together, it's just basically the movement of the youth movement, and it's worldwide.
Basically the person that we're attracting to buy our products. Young, energetic, you know, looking for an alternative look in the marketplace.
And it's the way you dress, it's the way you talk, it's where you go, it's kind of people you hang out with.
You know, most images are of a surfer in the old days was that you were a bum. You know, you just went to the beach and you know, either did drugs or did nothing but go to the beach and go surfing. But nowadays it's such a business. People like to look like they're from the beach side. People like to look like they're from Hawaii or from the islands. You know, they like to promote that image, promote the image that it's a casual lifestyle.
Surfing has always had this stigma that, you know, let's go out and party, you know, smoke pot, do drugs, you know, rock and roll, and don't work, and these things. Most of the surfers are like Kelly Slater, and less of them are like the old-time surfers. Kelly Slater, who was a 6-time world champion, who's sponsored by Quicksilver, really brought surfing into a different level. I mean, he's been, you know, widely publicized. He's been in Sports Illustrated. He's been on, you know, the Today Show and things like that. And I think it's kind of put surfing at a different level. People now look at it like, wow, they really do have an act.
So people really go by what the big professional people are riding, you know, as within any sport. You know, if everybody's using this kind of tennis racket on the pro tour, then everybody wants that kind of tennis racket. And so if you have a lot of guys on tour riding your boards, then a lot of guys will be interested in at least trying your boards. Just like anybody would use a sponsored athlete, just like, as I said before, Nike would use Tiger Woods. I mean, they use him as a showcase for their goods and as a spokesman for their products. And
competing in Hawaii is a great thing for us personally because, you know, as you know, we travel around the world and compete, and I know that when we travel around the world, it's like we bring a lot of crowds and you know, the tourists and like all that kind of a stuff and money into the area, and for us it's like we're in our backyard and we get the local support and representation here. It's such a friendly, visible sport, and like just the way that, you know, We carry ourselves, in the water in our bikinis on the beach, and just the whole thing. It's like it's a great avenue for sponsors or for corporations for marketing and whatever industry that you're trying to kind of slap an image on that's positive and youthful and healthy, and you're in the sun and the ocean, and you can't beat it.
The biggest change to the look of surfing has been a dramatic increase in the number of women in the water.
Women have become more competitive towards surfing because more people do it now, so there's more women involved, which is good, not so much guys.
In the 70s, when we started Quicksilver, it was a men's sport, and it was always that way. And in the late 80s, we decided to come out with a women's line. And the women's line is called Roxy. And this thing pretty much changed the face of surfing. It has changed the face of surfing forever. That is probably the #1 biggest thing that has hit our industry is the Roxy line in women's surfing.
Well, the surfer girl image seems to be the dark-skinned girl, the long hair, the Roxy clothes. That's kind of what it seems to be. That's how everyone wants to be. Like, if you're a surfer, you can tell because the way they dress and stuff. But I guess it's because everyone wears it that you want to wear it, so it makes it more likable. You like it more because everyone wants it, so you want it too.
They make it real public. They make it out there. Everybody knows what it is. There's people that like never even seen the water and they're like wearing Quicksilver gear and whatever, and that's how it goes.
Although the surfing industry has grown to accommodate the popularity of women surfers, media images remain limited.
Well, it's mostly like the Holly girls from the mainland, California girls. There's none like Hawaiian girls in the magazines, which it should be because surfing's from here. So it should be more about the islands, the island people.
If you look at the ads of chicks surfing, like the Roxy ads and whatever, and they're out surfing Waikiki on like 12-foot longboards, and they're wearing like fake leather, like lays and like palm tree hats and whatever, and they're all pimped out in their fucking shell gear and whatever, bruh. It's so ghettoed out. Like those chicks, that's not even surfing. That's not chick surfing, bruh. That's horrible. They just get like portrayed to be dingbats or whatever. I just think it's unrealistic when they put chicks in some like girly outfit and make them look cute and have them surf really small waves. Because there's chicks out there that rip super hard, and they don't they show it small kind, but mostly all the guys get all the big publicity. You know what I mean? It's too bad. Like chicks that actually rip, bro, they don't really get much respect. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like it's like a couple chicks that rip, they get plenty of respect, but most of the chicks, like, bruh, chicks rip hard and they could be surfing. Like, they could be in those ads, those stupid girly ads where they're eating mango in like the bush somewhere. It's kind of lame, I think, personally. I don't pay attention to any of this deal or the new trend or what sunglasses just came out yesterday. It's not my deal, bruh. I surf because I love the ocean and I love the way it makes me feel. And if you try to make it anything bigger than that, that's where you gone wrong, you know? You just gotta harvest what the ocean has to offer. People, they try to make money off of it and stuff like that. That's not what it's there for. It's recreation, bro. You love the ocean, you surf, you know? You stay with the ocean as much as you can.
That whole thing goes way back. It goes back to like Duke Hanamoku, who used to take the image, you know, and the lifestyle and actual surfing to places like California and around the world. And California was one of those places that bit. Oh, that is just awesome. They loved it, the whole lifestyle and the image, and they swooped it up at that age, which was what, 60s, 70s, back in that time. And basically those are the company owners nowadays. You think about it, you know, there's youngsters, but it was those guys who started things like, wow, we can actually make a dime off of this surfing stuff. And it wasn't Hawaii that was going, hey, let's manufacture and pump out this and make money. They were living off the land. They loved it for a sport. It was you were lucky to be able to go out and surf. You had to work, and to be able to go out and surf was like, yeah, okay, cool, you know, now we get to actually play.
Ikapo ele ele
The surfing industry is built upon images that romanticize the tropics. Advertisements, videos, and t-shirts market surfing as an adventurous lifestyle that plays before an exotic backdrop of remote islands, pristine beaches, and tropical flowers. While these images rely on the presence of natives to make their settings authentic, leading roles are restricted to a white cast, following the traditions of Columbus, Cook, and Indiana Jones. The tropics are sold to consumers through Western eyes.
So I moved out here in '95. I used to import-export marine aquarium fish, and I lived in Makaha. And I was told that as soon as I moved out here, I'd get beat up, I'd get my boards broke, and I wouldn't fit in. And first thing that happened is as I paddled out, guys turned around and gave me waves. And it's kind of like rediscovering surfing all over again, because I actually got to the point where I almost walked away from surfing because I was just so miserable out in the water in California that I wasn't having a good time. So when I came here, I rediscovered my whole stoke on surfing and discovered aloha. And it just changed my whole perspective, and I became rejuvenated and fell in love with surfing all over again.
In the surfing industry, professional surfers are the lead actors in tropical adventures. Those who do not fit the part are relegated to the background.
Coming from Seaside, California, which is mostly a black community in Monterey, black Hispanic community, it was an opportunity to get up out of there. You know, didn't want to follow brothers' footsteps or be like Papa San, or, you know, even take things that my mom did. You know, I just, that wasn't something to look forward to, how they lived their lives before me. So I chose something different. Surfing itself, being a leash, surfboard, and Mother Nature is wonderful. I never take anything back from starting it. You know, I love doing it, and I'll always do it, hopefully until I die, literally. But to pursue it in an industry or in a way that you want to be successful and, like I said, fulfill your destiny or your dreams, you know, more of a destiny if you really see it and you're heading for somewhere. It's hard on a young black man, you know, young black male here in United States. It seems like it doesn't really go for you because of the majority. I don't know, everywhere I go, it's like, whoa, there's a homeboy out here with cornrows in his head, you know? Whoa, there's a black man out here surfing. You all right? You ain't gonna drown? You gonna be all right over there? So it's like, they notice right off the bat. We all mistaken for Hawaiian anyways. Being black, you know, we look like Hawaiians. So I've heard a couple photographers say that's a lot of why Hawaiians and blacks don't get exploited in magazines a lot, because we're dark and the shots don't really come out too well. So a lot of photographers, can run astray from certain individuals if their efforts don't get paid off, you know, shooting this guy, shooting this guy, but the sponsors don't want to buy it. You know, it's like, wow, I'm looking around, I'm seeing a guy kill it, but sponsors aren't really buying it, you know what I mean? So it's just all in how you handle your business with your companies. We're just a big image country here in America anyway. It's all about what you portray in your clothes and how you look and stuff. So it's totally different in other countries. You're treated like, wow, this guy's killing the lip. Hey, he's killing the lip. Regardless of what skin color, you know, he's doing his thing. Companies to see you, you know, getting together with photographers in your local area and trying to come up with good image kind of things that they can use for ads, because that's what the companies want to use you for, like a public eye, whether it's braids on your hair or the way your surfboard looks or what you're doing out in the water. It's all about just an image you're trying to portray. So, and nowadays for a youngster to get involved with that, you really got to be following those kind of footsteps. Like, what did this person do to be successful in owning a company and getting involved with surfing industry and having that image? And if you're not playing it right, you don't get seen.
Every day, so my family don't have to worry. It's on your brother, get your money in a hurry. Making a move, paying a dude, try not to get buried. But ain't no hate when you chasing, when you ain't chasing, then you hating, perpetrating, G's gon' be violent. Money matters, sit on back, evaluate the situation. No hesitation, blend the color, green or brown skin. In my hand, at the limit.
That's what it really comes down to it. It's like, wow, if you're gonna give someone a buck, give them a buck for the life they're living and the things they choose to do. But it seems like they're keeping it so in this corporate family thing that there's people out there abusing that. There's people like me that work hard, you know what I mean, to get it, and it's like, I don't know, it's just frustrating.
Surf companies are selective in the surfers they sponsor. The island's native is an essential presence, but seldom a lead actor.
A lot of times the contest organizers will pick people who are already known and sponsored. They don't just pick like Joe Schmo who doesn't have anything going for them, you know. It usually comes with the back of sponsorship anyway. The love of the surfing is a lot different from the competition side. And you want to get paid to do your job. You want to get paid for competing on a daily basis because it's stressful and you're dealing with a lot of people's attitudes, and it's not just a walk in the park, you know. You're going out there and putting your life on the line. That's basically how a lot of these guys are doing it. If they haven't put themselves on the world tour already, they've been out at Pipe a lot, and so the people who are watching Pipe recognize the faces and so invite them also, you know. They want to make their start sometimes is at Pipeline because it's such a famous wave, and you get to challenge guys that are world renowned and known by everyone as being really good surfers, and so the local boys get a chance to compete against them and show their stuff, you know. And that's good. That's a good aspect of it. But then there's the flip side to it is there's only a narrow list of invitees, so a lot of guys get left out also. Unfortunately, the financial status of the companies here isn't very strong. Well, like they make a lot of money, but they don't have that kind of budget to invest in contests. You know, we have big companies like Town & Country and Locomotion, and they're not sponsoring the Pipe, and they're not sponsoring the Sunset contest, and they have the bucks, but that's not a part of their program. So that's one of the biggest ways that we can help the community, is the bigger companies getting more involved with the local people. Because these bigger companies are sponsoring people from California, and their basis is here in Hawaii. And their whole reasoning behind picking up someone from California is to get their backing, to spread their name, you know. So they want to get their name bigger by supporting someone from not here, but then leaves us out because the industry is so small, so we get a lot of times get left out.
Whatever sponsors we can get, we welcome. You know, the more the merrier, the better it is for the surfers.
Great.
You know, more money involved. Right. Yeah, so I don't mind it, but on the other hand, they make it a hype because they make most of the money. They get all these people like coming down and they set up all those little shops, and it's just big advertisement for them, free advertisement on the beach. It just made somebody who was already rich richer. The best surfers don't have the big sponsors, not necessarily. You know, for guys like me, I don't say I'm the best, you know, but it's hard for me to get to those places. I'm just lucky I got a good sponsor.
Because I've known a lot of good surfers from the west side, bodyboarders, who could come here and blow away a lot of these guys. But they stay out at Makaha and they go get a regular job and they never even try. They never even go and do the competitions. And that, you know, it's there for them, but the scene is big, and so it scares them at the same time. So you gotta have that drive. You gotta want it pretty bad.
The industry uses natives to sell the romance and authenticity of surfing.
サーフィンは好きですか？
好きですよ。
何回ハワイに来てますか？
今年で3回目。
今年は3回。じゃあ何年間から？
もう4年目ぐらいですね。
何回ハワイ来てことがありますか？
私は3回目です。
私は6回目。
時々サーフィンをやれますか？
サーフィンっていうか、たまにボディーボードの方ちょっとしてます。
時々日本でボディーサーフィンやったことがありますか？
あります。
それはどこですか？
それは私北海道なので、北海道の海の方で少ししたこと。
それすごく寒い、そうでもないですか？
すごい寒いです。真夏でもウェットスーツ、フルスーツ着ないと入れないぐらいなんで。
それで北海道のサーフィンとハワイのサーフィンのどう違うですか？一番大きな違いは何ですか？
波の大きさも違うと思うんですけど、でもやっぱり海の色、青い海で青い空でするのがやっぱり最高に楽しいと思います。
This is the ultimate, I guess, for them. North Shore would come to mind. A lot of them would, you know, during the winter months, want to see the North Shore. For them, Hawaii is paradise. So they love it out here. We're synonymous with the ocean. So surfing is synonymous with Hawaii. So with that, the image of Hawaii is, you know, how can I put it? Paradise with the recreation.
It does much for the economy as far as the exposure that people will see the sand, surf, and sun of Hawaii in the dead of winter, and realize that there are beautiful places called paradise out there, easily accessible by an airplane, and they can come and enjoy it also.
Hawaii is considered the mecca of surfing, and so for us to project the image about Hawaii, you know, we have beautiful weather, fantastic waves, it's a great place. So for the state, for the tourism promotion, it's an unbelievable way to get the word out, and it doesn't cost anything for the state. So we both have the city and county, state, spreading the word about what Hawaii has to offer to the world, and not only in the world of sport, but as a destination venue as well.
You know, it's a great thing for you know, a lot of the tourists that come out here too, because I know that a lot of times they come here and it's like, you know, they get out here and they see the, you know, Pipeline and Waimea and Sunset, and there's like, well, where's the contest and where's the great surfers? And all of a sudden it's like, if they're here during the time when the contests are going on, it's something great for them to come out here and check out and you know, to be a part of. And just being down here today, watching Pipe and everything, it's like you hear all the oohs and the ahs, and they have a story to tell when they go home.
Ironically, while the industry uses natives to sell the romance and authenticity of surfing, native surfers are not offered equal sponsorship opportunities. If this is increasingly the case in Indonesia, Tahiti, and South Africa, it is most glaring in Hawaii.
Some of them get frustrated is because our cultural, say, roots come back from, you know, Duke Hanamoku and way back, you know, but from our Alis. But you know, basically what I guess discourages a lot of the youth today is that you just mentioned whether it's a political stand or whatever it is, but yeah, they feel that we're kind of like an outcast, and that's the saddest part, is because you could say we're the founders of surfing if you look at history, you know.
If one would go back and do some research on surfing, one would find that it was the genius of the Hawaiians, the indigenous people of the islands, who thought about the concept of riding the waves. And that's the most amazing thing when you think about it, that a people would think about harnessing the energy out there and then decide that they could use that energy as a recreational event, activity, and then to go and shape a piece of wood and to go out there and actually ride the natural element of a wave. That's incredible. And they did that since prehistoric times. So that's an amazing gift. And of all the people in the world, where there's ocean communities, where they live along the coastline, it was the Hawaiians that invented surfing. And that's the gift to the world.
You know, when people look at Hawaii, they look at North Shore, Pipeline, Waimea, Sunset, and that's what they view of Hawaii to be. But they don't see the rest of Hawaii, of what it really is. They only see a small sample of what Hawaii is. I think if you talk about North Shore, how has it influenced North Shore? It has influenced North Shore greatly, because the local community is not very big on the North Shore community, only in places such as like Haleiwa or Laie or Kohuku, you know, but right in the heart of North Shore, it is such a culture clash, because you have multi-cultures, Brazilians and Japanese and, you know, Americans and everyone else. You know, I'm not saying Hawaiians aren't American, but the Hawaiian people are kind of pushed back or pushed around. You know, things has grown on an international level here. So North Shore has changed. There's a lot of politics involved, right. And of course, money is driven some of the decisions. Politics is driven a lot of the decisions. There's a lot of people that is bidding for certain areas, you know, inside this. I think, you know, the community also gets involved a lot, but there's so much different factions, and you cannot try to, what's the word I'm trying to look for? It's satisfy. You can't satisfy every single person. All you can do is come to a consensus and try to get the most for what is best, either for the community or for the island or for the state or for the culture, you know. But it takes those knowledgeable, respectable people to get together and, you know, come up with some kind of game plan or mission and figure out what path do they want to go. Because there's 1,000 right answers and 1,000 wrong answers, you know, and that's how it is.
They don't really care about us locals. They talk big about Hawaiiana. When it comes down to it, as I say, they were the ones willing to see this parking lot removed. If this parking lot is removed, we can't come to the ocean. We can't access the oceans here. The hotels are constantly talking about Hawaiiana and fostering Hawaiiana, but what they do in reality is something opposite from what they say. Waikiki is saturated with people. The hotel right here behind us has to apply for a variance just to build another building. Well, here we are competing for park space right now in the Waikiki Moku, and they want to bring another hotel here. Well, once they add to the density of the area, we end up competing with them for space. Happens in the water. We compete somehow for space, for access, and we're always competing against the money interest.
We're born and raised on this island, surrounded by water, you know, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. What, a couple thousand miles away from the nearest place? That's all we got, you know, is the ocean. The ocean is our life, you know. So rather it be surfing, diving, swimming, kayaking, canoeing, you know, that's all we got, is the ocean.
You know, like anything, it's what gets to people, you know. I mean, using the media, using the television or TV or whatever as a tool of education. From where I come from on the west side of Oahu, Makaha, we're known as water people, watermen, where surfboard doesn't make who we are, you know, like we shortboard, we longboard, we bodyboard, we do everything and stuff like that in the water. Basically, we enjoy the ocean, and that's part of our culture as being Hawaiian. So on the west side, we have a strong cultural base where respect is educate yourself about the ocean, you know, more than the surfboard itself. And I think everybody get locked in on what the whole fad is, you know, with the ASP and professional surfing. Is like that's the only way to surf. It's not the only way. It's just one version, you know, surfing. But as far as pockets in the rest of the state or the rest of the islands, the aloha spirit still survives. The culture still survives. The old ways still survives. The ways of, you know, learning about the ocean and using the surf, you know, it's still culturally embedded in certain pockets or certain areas.
It's the one event that crosses countries, cultures, and all borders. You'll find surfers in all different parts of the world today. In the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, the east, and the west. In all types of conditions, you'll find surfers there. And what unites these individuals, these sports enthusiasts, is their love for riding the waves, for he'enalu. And that's an amazing thing that I think we don't appreciate, that we have this kind of global acceptance and global support for surfing.
The expansion of surfing has transformed the surf industry from small-scale, local firms to multinational corporations. In the wake of these changes, what was an indigenous sport has become a global lifestyle.
日本のサーフとハワイのサーフはだいぶ違いますか？
もうやっぱり違いますよ。
違いは一番大きな違いは何でしょうか？
やっぱ気持ちじゃないですかね。
These changes have had dramatic impacts on surfing in Hawaii.
There weren't very many people surfing back then. The waters weren't as crowded. We didn't really, we took it as a lifestyle back then. It wasn't as commercialized as it is today. The wasn't very much competition in the water. It's a whole lot more aggressive because of the amount of people that are in the water. But I think it's because the commercialization of that takes place, the fact that television is everywhere or media is everywhere. People see it, and they think it's a great lifestyle. It's like, God, I'd like to lay out on a beach in Hawaii, where the sun always shines, and not sitting here in freezing weather, getting fat and lazy. So, they just glorify the sport itself, and I think that's why a lot of people get into it. And so the experience today, as opposed to 30 years ago, 40 years ago, is a whole lot different,
It didn't mean a thing how we looked or what we said or acted. It was fun. It was just local, pure fun. Ever since I started surfing, I don't remember it being as big as it is today. Back when I learned how to surf, it was just a couple of your friends, whatever boards you could get a hold of. It didn't matter how it looked, how it floated, just so long as that it did float. And that was it. It was just catching waves, standing up and riding the wave as best you can. Nowadays, it's how you look, what you wear, what your board looks like, who shaped it, how it was shaped, and possibly how much pictures being taken of you or how much money you can be making.
We get to interface with people from all over the world, from Japan, from Australia, and oftentimes we end up bonding with them and developing relationships in the ocean. There's a little bit of mentoring going on initially because they naturally want to give us the respect because we're sort of the locals in the area, we know the areas, and it actually makes for really interesting interchanging between foreigners and the local people here. It's just all a matter of working with us, and then you get pulled in and you're okay. But if you work against us, it's not going to work for you because, for one, we know these areas better, and for that reason we dominate the lineup basically. And if you come and you're a skilled surfer and you don't know the particular lineup, it's better that you just hang back a little while instead of trying to just charge and get in everybody's face, so to speak. Once you learn the ropes, you're okay. You can go for it.
If you were not from there or you didn't look like you fit in or you couldn't surf, they'd send you right in. Either verbally or physically, you'd get sent in, especially if you got in the way. And most areas had, the regulars, is what we would call them, that would dominate the spot. And nowadays, you go out, it's nothing like that. Everyone is a lot more friendlier. Everyone's got their guards down.
More than a battle between a threatened local and an overpowering global, Hawaii's surf breaks are examples of the intricate negotiations that define globalization. The global and the local are reshaped in these negotiations.
Nowadays, I think localism just means that, hey, you're representing, the state of Hawaii. You gotta kind of look good. You gotta speak well. No more pigeon. Everyone's more aware of the change. In my opinion, too, the people have changed only because maybe different types of races of people have come in and have, mixed, and through the years have evolved into different types of mentalities and attitudes towards what local means.
We often found ourselves surrounded by visitors, or having to constantly deal with visitors. But it wasn't their presence that was the problem, it was their lack of understanding of either the particular break or what we refer to as the local people that sort of live there. There's a couple of spots out here are my home spots, and when people from the mainland come, if they don't take time to learn the reef break or to learn some of the safety parts of surfing, if they're beginners, it gets them in trouble, actually. And it's unfortunate because we're not deliberately out there trying to get them in trouble. But if they come and they don't take the time to learn the breaks, what you'll find is they'll be in the way all the time. And then we end up having to sort of instruct them on what to do and what not to do, gets kind of ugly sometimes because they don't want us telling them what to do, and we don't want to take the time to have to tell them what to do. But so it normally works out where they end up complying. What happens is they go and come back and figure everything out, and then it's all good. It's enough room for everybody when that happens.
The very meaning of surfing has been transformed in its encounter with the global. Surfing has sailed beyond Hawaii shores and rode the waves back. Surfing has evolved into many different sports and games that use the fluid movements of the surfer.
You know, skating has become such a global thing that it will probably surpass surfing in the next 5 years because, you know, kids can do it everywhere.
The sport itself, as it gets exposed to more people, let's say somebody in Michigan, they can't surf, but they can play the surf video game. Then they want to buy surf videos, and they're into surfing. They want to come to Hawaii, and they want to see the Pipe Masters, and they want to surf themselves. It just makes the sport more appealing to more people, it exposes more people to the sport, and it allows more people to, at least in their brains and on their TVs and in their imaginations, surf.
Surfing has also evolved into a metaphor for the way of navigation and movement.
Music, surf, skate, urban, just lounge, rock and roll, you know, hard rock, whatever.
It's not just the actual sport of surfing, but it's the whole phrase, like surf the internet, channel surfing, you know? Surf is everywhere.
Globalization is a part of our lives. Join us again on this channel to explore further what it means to live in a global world. Living in a Global World is produced by the Globalization Research Center at the University of Hawaii. The center is set up to look at the many faces of globalization and to try to understand what and how it is. Direct your comments or suggestions to our website at www.globalhawaii.org.